table and talk about classroom composition and complexity?
Well, I mean, as I've said previously, I think you and I spoke yesterday on the issue of classroom complexity. You know, that's a line in the sand for government that we're not going to be moving on. We believe that issues around classroom size and complexity are best dealt with by school divisions, locally elected school divisions, 27 of them, all around the province in a diverse range of communities, size, and demographics. And so we think school divisions are best positioned to manage that. And again, we're going to continue working with school divisions to support them in that. You know, the union's request is basically to take that away from locally elected school boards, which we don't believe is in the best interest of education from a big picture. And certainly we think it's important to have that local voice in education.
I don't know if the union would actually say that when we just spoke with CBC, actually said specifically that they agree that it should be dealt with at a local level, but there aren't currently those budgets to do that as part of the reason why the contract which specifically related.
Yeah, it's not something that we're going to include in a provincially collective bargaining agreement. So again, I've spent much of the fall, much of the last few weeks touring around, visiting school divisions, having some, I think, productive conversations about how we continue to address, support students and support teachers in the classroom in various communities. But it looks different, right? It looks different in Regina than it does in Creighton or North Battleford or Yorkton. And so, it's going to require us to work in a very local approach with school divisions. But again, that's not something that we're going to put in a bargain agreement.
Why is that a line in the sand?
Well, I think we have 27 locally elected school boards for a reason. If we're going to put management issues like classroom size and complexity in a bargain agreement, why have school boards? And, I think when it comes to K-12 education, I think there's a really strong reason to have a local voice at the table. As I said, we got a whole bunch of different types of communities in this province, and I think they're best served when they have a local voice and a local school board to help address the needs that they have in their community.
Are you open to adjusting your position or adding anything else on the government side of the agreement on top of what you've offered already?
I think when I've been out there and saying, the union's ask around classroom complexity is not something that we're going to move on. I've also made the comment that I think the salary ask is unreasonable and unfair to Saskatchewan taxpayers. But there's other issues that the teachers union has raised that I'm actively taking a look at and seeing how we may be able to adjust our bargaining mandate to find common ground. Because again, at the end of the day, that's what we want here, right? We want a deal that gets kids back in the classroom, that provides some predictability for families and teachers alike. And so, our hope is that we can get to a bargain agreement. That's certainly the goal here.
What kind of common ground have you been able to find? So you said that there's something that you have heard that you're willing to do.
Yeah, I know that there was an issue. One of the issues that the teachers union raised around leave benefits. We've found common ground on that issue. And again, government bargains at 50-some tables, in the public sector, all across government. And, again, we want to make sure that our approach is consistent. But the best deals are always found at the bargaining table. Deals take time, but, certainly I think there is opportunity to find common ground on some of these issues.
Is the GTBC open to finding arbitration?
That's not something we've considered at this point.
If you haven't considered it at that point, you said that you haven't considered moving teachers back to work either. It sounds like there's an impasse here with respect to classroom size and complexity. Are you anticipating more strikes? And if so, why? Why not try and find some common ground? Why not try and have some end of concession at the bargaining table to prevent kids from being out of school?
Yeah, obviously, as I said off the top, where we're at today is not where we want to be, right? We have kids that aren't in the classroom today. We have teachers and educational staff that aren't able to do what they love to do in schools all across the province, and we know that it causes some challenges for families, right? But at the end of the day, I think take classroom complexity, for example. I understand there's been some criticism on the pilot projects that we announced last week, but I think that's starting to show that government knows that there's issues and is willing to work on them. We're just not going to do that in a provincially collectively bargained agreement. So, certainly I think when I look back on previous rounds of bargaining with government and teachers, what came out of those was a commitment to talk, and we're past that. Forming a committee of people that drive from all over the province to Regina and have coffee and eat sandwiches and talk about issues just doesn't do it for me. Just doesn't do it for me. And so, again, that's why, I've been working on certainly the specialized support classroom pilot for several weeks now with these 8 school divisions. I'm really excited to see what comes out of that. And, again, the Teachers Innovation and Support Fund, which I think did largely come from the feedback of Samantha Beacott herself and what might be a path through this bargaining process. I think there's a really great opportunity for teachers to have a direct voice in how we address class size and complexity through that pilot fund, and I look forward to seeing some of the ideas there. And if the ideas work, great, let's do more of that. Let's expand that to more schools and more divisions around the province. Let's put some dollars behind that. But I think if we're going to continue to make additional investment beyond the investment that we've made in education as a government previously, we want to make sure that it's the solutions that work and have real impact right in the classroom.
To be clear, there's nothing actually preventing you from bargaining the classroom size and complexity. There's no legal mechanism. There's nothing through the Education Act. There's no legislation that prevents you from actually bargaining that.
It would require agreement from both sides to bargain. And as I said, I'll be clear on this. We believe
there's nothing legally inhibiting you from doing that.
No, but the belief that local school boards have a pretty important role to play in our province. And I live in a community that isn't Regina or Saskatoon, and my community is different than Regina or Saskatoon. And so we have different challenges than the 2 large urban centers. We have different challenges than a community like Frontier or Shaunavon or, a community in the southeast. So, certainly as a parent and as a community member, I want to make sure that schools in my community are addressing the specific needs that we have in the Battlefords, for example, right? So I think that's why, again, the important role that school boards play. That's exactly why we won't bargain that, because we believe that school boards are that local voice in education and play a pretty important role in our province.
Why don't have school boards set mill rates? Why don't have school boards actually have a bit more autonomy because their budgets are set?
Yeah, I mean, when school boards used to set mill rates, I mean, there were some challenges around that in terms of fairness across the province. For example, Saskatoon and Regina have larger tax bases than a school division, say, like Chinook. Or Southeast Cornerstone. So it's, I think there had to be some fairness applied there. And again, with the changes made, government has fully funded education and will continue to do so. But we do think that there's an opportunity for government and school divisions to work even closer together than they have so far on addressing some of these issues. And certainly I'm really seeing some opportunities through my meetings with school divisions over the last several weeks, and I think there's going to be some good things coming out of that in terms of how we work with school divisions more going forward.
Just on the pilot projects, you've given them money to address classroom complexity.
Yep.
So why is that okay through that avenue but not through the bargaining process?
Well, the bargaining process would kind of have a one-size-fits-all approach province-wide, and for reasons I've already stated, I don't think that's not what's best for Saskatchewan as a province. It's not what's best for Saskatchewan students or families or teachers.
I guess why, like you say it's not best province, why, but shouldn't all school divisions be treated, you said this equally, right? So why not provide equal funding to address complexity?
Well, the challenge, I think though, I just think about the schools that I've walked through in the last couple of weeks and some of the teachers I've met and what I've heard, directly from educators in terms of what they work on every day in their schools and the challenges that they face and their students face. I was at Riverside Community School in Prince Albert yesterday. That's a very different school environment than you worked in regional high school. Like 2 totally different schools. Creighton Community School, I was there last week. Very different than John Dolan School in Saskatoon, right? So, we want to make sure that quality education in Melfort looks the same as quality education in Regina, from an overall perspective. But we also know that there's unique needs in those communities. And so that's really what we're trying to get to by working specifically with school divisions and, getting to a place where wherever students are coming from, we have the supports in place to help them along.
You said this doesn't quite do it for you, driving to Regina, drinking coffee and eating donuts. But what does? What's the next step for this school board? Ms. Smith, the BCOT said to us earlier today that it seems as though children are not a priority for the province. And to someone who might not understand the complexity of the issue, it certainly looks that way when kids are out of school for several days in a row. What does the province need to take a step towards progress? Well,
I think that's a disappointing perspective. I mean, whether you're a parent or not, I think you want what's best for the children of this province. I mean, I'm a relatively new parent myself. I want to make sure that when my little guy is ready to go to school, that he has an opportunity for an excellent quality education here in Saskatchewan. That certainly that gets me up out of bed every morning. I think what I mentioned earlier about the pilot projects, what does do it for me is actually trying things and taking real action with real dollars. I don't want to sit around and drink coffee and talk about issues. I want to actually try some ideas. If the ideas work, let's do more of them. And both these pilot projects, I think it's important to note, and this is important feedback that I got from school divisions as I met with them, is it's a pilot project is difficult if it's for a very short period of time. I wanted to get started this school year. I want to start seeing some ideas tried and piloted into classrooms this school year. But I think it has to go beyond just this school year and into next school year. And so I think there's going to be an opportunity for reevaluation of both pilots after the end of the school year. And if we see some good ideas, if we see some opportunities for growth to better support classrooms across the province, we'll expand those pilot projects.
I guess my question is more specifically, are you waiting on a phone call from school, directors of school boards, or are you waiting on an email? Are you waiting on some kind of communication? If members of the school boards were out here today, not specifically teachers, does that change, the impact of what's happening outside in here?
Well, I've heard directly from school boards that I've had the opportunity to meet with around the province that, local school boards are committed to supporting the students in their divisions where they're at. I've also heard from school boards that, the right to have these conversations locally, the right to manage these issues locally is very important to school boards. Local autonomy is incredibly important to the 27 school divisions around the province. When I have an opportunity to sit down with a school division, I was with PA Catholic and Saskatchewan River School Division yesterday. I'd say we had some fairly productive conversations around how we continue to help resource those school divisions to manage the needs that they see in the classroom. So, certainly from the school division government perspective, I would say there's a productive relationship that's growing, and I think an opportunity to, working through that avenue to really help support students going forward in the province.
And in your conversations with these school boards, are they expressing any of the same concerns as teachers? Are they telling you about classroom sizes, about a lack of resources at all? Or are they painting a different picture entirely?
No,
because if things are different, then it would make sense for members of the school board to be here. But teachers are here, members of the school board per se are not.
Yeah. Well, I think what we have heard, and I've been public. I mean, there are challenges in many of our classrooms around the province. I fully acknowledge that. I've walked through classrooms. I've been through schools. This school year, I've seen that. I've seen that we have students with a wider range of needs probably than ever before. We also have more students in K-12 education in Saskatchewan than we've ever seen before. I mean, our province is growing at a rate faster than it has in over 100 years. These are challenges, but these are good challenges. And I think, school divisions are identifying for me opportunities where we can add supports to support those students. And when it comes back to the local board autonomy and the role of school boards in the province, they're the ones that make that decision. And I don't think it's right for a union to make those decisions in local communities. And, I think, school divisions know that they have my commitment that I'm going to continue engaging with them and figuring out how we best support them in their various communities around the province.
These pilot projects are temporary, so how can you guarantee to parents that these will have lasting impacts and last forever?
Well, my commitment is, if it's a good idea, we'll do more. If it's a good idea, if it shows good outcomes, why would we not do more, right? And if it's a flop, hey, I'll stand here, say, hey, didn't work. Let's go to the next idea. But I think the key point there is that you know, my commitment is that we're not just going to talk about the issues. We'll actually try solutions in classrooms that have real impact on students. If they work, great, let's do more. If they don't, let's move on to the next idea and try that.
So how long is this labor dispute going to be allowed to go on? 2 months, 3 months? When a full-blown strike happens, when can we expect that you'll want to put an end to this?
Yeah, I mean, I think many of us here, I mean, have family that are teachers, friends that are teachers, and you know, certainly, you know, I've been clear that I want to get a deal done, and deals happen not on the picket line, they happen at the bargaining table. The teachers union left the bargaining table in the fall. I've said today that you know, there's some lines that government won't cross in terms of positions on a couple issues, and I think those are reasonable positions. Saskatchewan Teachers Federation may feel differently, you know, but there are other areas that I think we can find common ground on, and I'm committed to trying to find that common ground, because at the end of the day, we want to get a deal done, right?
Are you considering to start the legislature back early, bring in legislation to force teachers back to work if it gets to that point?
That's not a consideration we've made.
Any last questions? Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.